For those who don't know me, my name's Stewart North. I'm chair of Bristol Noise Charities, involved in setting up the Noise when it started in 2001. And I'm just going to give a little bit of background around what the Noise is and how it started, and some of our values as well as an organisation. I'm going to hand over then to Esther, who's going to do some reflecting and looking forward to this year and looking back to last year as well. So I know many of you have a little knowledge of what the Noise is, and some of you have no knowledge at all, so you're all very welcome. The Noise is a charity that is committed here in Bristol to serving the urban estate communities across the whole of Bristol is our vision. We started back in 2001, so this year is our 16th year. We started with 30 volunteers. Working in Lockleys, just over the roads. Woo, the Lockleys people here. With just 30 volunteers. We had no idea that 16 years later we would be still here. Last year we had 920 volunteers involved. So it's a real significant long-term growth, and that's part of what we're wanting to see, is how this is a sustainable thing for our city. Many of you know that projects come and go, often over 3-year cycles, depending when funding runs out, etc. I know there's lots of tensions even for organisations here. How do we make our projects sustainable? The vision for the Noise is coming from a Christian faith background. Our vision is showing God's love in practical ways. And I'm going to explain what that means to us here. So I know many of you don't come from any faith background, or some of you do come from churches. And we're committed to the whole of Bristol, committed to seeing sustainable growth. So some of our values are this. One of our values is serving community. So the Noise is committed to each specific community that we work in. So we're committed to working with people like yourselves, people who live in the communities, organisations, churches, to meet real and felt needs. The aim of the Noise is not just about a bank holiday weekend where we resource and empower volunteers to get involved, but about projects that are worked on long term. So some of the projects I know that are represented in this room, you may have Noise volunteers that were inspired on one weekend in a community they've never visited, but actually wanted to give something back longer term. For us here in this area, many of you know that we run the North Bristol Food Bank. It's kind of one of the offices are based here, and that is an example of a project that came out of a Noise weekend, where we continually served and worked in local people's houses and saw real felt needs. And we're thinking, how do we meet some of these needs? And obviously Food Bank was one of those ways that we felt long term we can continue to meet those needs. We're also committed as a value to building unity. So we place a really high value of unity, particularly across the church community, but also working with every different organisation. It's only possible because hundreds of people give their time and energy to make this happen. So we're committed to our volunteers. Many have come from a church background, so it's an expression of their faith why they get involved, but we also have many people who from local communities who are people of goodwill, who want to see good stuff happen in their communities, coming in and joining in with us. People often ask us, why don't you just flyer the entire Bristol and say, get involved? Our main reason is we're scared what will happen. Even managing 900 volunteers is a task in itself, but if that was double, suddenly I think we'd have a little bit of a breakdown. So we do encourage people in local communities, people like yourselves, to get involved in a weekend as a volunteer. We do a lot of our promotion now on social media, as many of you will see. So we encourage building unity. We also encourage cross-generational as a value. So the Noise Weekend provides events that are relevant for young and old alike. Many of our volunteers as well are aged between the age of 14 and 21. Esther will give particularly some statistics around how many young people and children are involved. Last year we had our youngest volunteer was the age of 5, and I think the oldest was the age of 83. So it was right across there, and that's an important value, is to model to communities that actually we can all work together. And that's the important thing that we want to do. We believe that inspiring a generation under the age of 30 to work with the most vulnerable is a really key thing for us. And so for those of you who work with youth organisations, I know you'd love to see young people who come and use your youth clubs and your drop-ins actually doing something in the community as well. It's a really good thing, and we want to encourage that. I've already mentioned we're about mobilising volunteers. Volunteer mobilisation is something, and we believe that people catch a vision when they do something. You know, it's all very well for someone like me just to waffle on here or show a video clip or something, but when people get involved, they catch vision, and we can see something that can be reproduced in lots of different ways across the city. An example would be last year we had a team from a little town called Devizes in Wiltshire, if you know that sort of area, and they came over to the Noise weekend. They did a day working with us, and I think they were doing some gardening projects and just getting stuck in. It wasn't their area, it wasn't their town or even their city, but they came over, they caught a vision, and then in October 2015 they ran their first Noise weekend in Devizes with 100 people involved in doing almost the same sort of thing that we're doing here. And we see that as a great model to catch a vision and get on and do it. You know, we're not trying to create an empire here, we're just trying to inspire what's going on in other places as well. Coming into land a little bit, partnerships and community transformation. So some of the photos you will see of the kind of digging and kind of cleaning and building fences as a part of what we do. We work closely with people like yourselves, and that's part of what this afternoon is about. Vanessa explained, to identify projects in different communities that we can that will actually benefit a community. I know, you know, for me, I could drive around a community and say, "Oh, that area needs cleaning up," and we've had times like that where we thought like that, but not actually done it, because sometimes areas are not cleaned up for very specific reasons, because they don't want that area cleaned up because it's going to be actually houses built on it anyway. It would be a waste of volunteer, you know, manpower, etc., or other reasons. And so we're very much wanting to hear from the local community what is the need, what are the things in your area. And for areas like Lockleys, we've been working there for many years. Sometimes there's not so many projects in that area now, whereas in another area where we're starting to work in, there may be more projects like that. So it really changes from year on year out. We often work particularly closely with the police, who are often referring projects to us, or working alongside us. And we're also really grateful for neighbourhood partnerships. This year we've had, in every area I think that we're working in, neighbourhood partnerships are supporting us in kind of some of the grants and stuff. So we're really grateful to see that, and we've seen that continually year after year. So we're grateful for that. Finally, we like to, everything we do is free. People say, how do you fund that? With difficulty. But actually, volunteers all pay to get involved. That's kind of an upside down way of doing things. They pay to give their bank holiday weekend to working in a community. That's kind of all upside down to me. But everything we do is free, and we want to recognise that each individual estate, although there's lots of common things between the estates of Southmead or Lawrence Weston or Brentry or Lockleys, there's lots of common things, but each estate has its own identity and own specific needs and stuff. And we want to be running free events that value the dignity of each community. People always say to us, well, you're doing this many free fun afternoons, why don't you just do a big one in the centre of Bristol? You know, that would make more funding sense, but actually for us it would mean that everybody would have to drive there, or get public transport to get there. It wouldn't value each community, and that's what we're about. Logistically, it's an absolute nightmare, although we have a very gifted person who can organise all that. bigger up. But actually it's really important for us to value the identity of each community.